Hello and welcome to ELL Plus with me, Monika Ghosh.
And me, Malika Fachrou, bringing you news and features from around our borough.
The boroughs we're covering are Hackney, Tower Hamlets, Lewisham and Croydon.
In this week's programme,
another fatal stabbing in Hackney. This is the 8th stabbing death since the beginning of the year. A charity is using knife bins to take more blades off the streets.
And how the residents of Purley Rise recover from a terrifying burglary attack.
And finally, how the chair of a health trust used NHS funds for her own consulting services.
We start today with news of another fatal stabbing in Hackney. 26-year-old Yaya Mbaye was found collapsed in the children's playground of the George Downing estate. He died soon afterwards in hospital.
Police say they're looking for 3 men who were seen in the area. It brings the number of fatal stabbings in London to 8 since the new year. Samuel Quashie-Idun has this report.
Around midnight on Sunday, on the George Downing estate in Stoke Newington, Yaya Mbaye lay dying in the playground as a resident opposite captured this video from her front room. It is thought that 26-year-old Yaya collapsed after being attacked by 3 men. He was chased into the estate by men who were driving a silver car, possibly a Mercedes estate. Police are still appealing for anyone who can help piece together the final days and hours of Yaya's life. Usually proud of its peaceful atmosphere and sense of community, one couple who have lived here all their lives said they have never seen anything like it. Residents were angry their estate is being associated with this murder and being branded as an unsafe place to live. One said, "It is a tragedy, but a sign of the times rather than a sign of this estate." The police say it is not linked to the stabbing of Daniel Frederick, who died on January 8th, just a mile away. In light of both events, the police utilized Section 60 to stop and search on Tuesday, giving enhanced powers to officers in selected postcodes.
So knife crime continues to be a very big problem across London. I'm currently here in Hackney behind the Church of St. John, where the newest Amnesty knife bin has just been placed. These bins were funded by the organization Word for Weapons, where they encourage people to come and drop off their knives right here in this hole. The charity claims to have already collected over 23,000 knives, which appears to be a step ahead towards combating knife crime.
There are no CCTV cameras around the bins to ensure anonymity, and the church is proud to protect the borough.
Our vision as a church is to play our part in bringing hope to the heart of Hackney, and this knife bin is part of that. We want to see the streets of Hackney made safer. We want to see the bright future that Hackney has made real, and this is a small part of that.
CEO of Word for Weapons, Michael Smith, said, "There is nowhere in the UK to get rid of your knives. This is a unique service," making it one of the many ways the city is trying to tackle its endemic knife culture.
The Box Park in Croydon, which opened last year, has just released its first accounts. Vivian, our breaking news correspondent, is here. Vivian, tell us more.
Well, yes, the Box Park actually is a shopping mall, has recorded a huge loss of £500,000 for its first 6 months of trading. The problem is the Croydon Council invested nearly £3 million to open in 2016. This news has been described as deeply worrying. And on top of that loss, they seem to owe around £2 million to creditors. Although Box Park hasn't published a full profit and loss sheet, that accounts do show that there's more money going out than going in.
Vivian, could you tell us a bit more about the reaction to these figures?
Well, the founder of Box Park, Roger Wild, said that he is happy with the trade is going, and he's looking forward a long and bright future. He said that more recent figures have been better and that a local could wait for the latest profit and the laws to be disclosed. But a councillor said that the residents really worried about the number of shops shutting down and how often that's happening.
Now, staying in Croydon, we hear there's another breaking story about the 19-year-old Connor Fitzgerald. Apparently his rape trial has collapsed. What's going on?
Well, his family have said that the Connor's situation actually echoes the Lim Allen case, and that's featured heavily in the news. Lim's rape trial collapsed after police failed to disclose the crucial text message. Connor was held in prison nearly three months with no bail. Yes, that's true, and he has lost his job. Yes, the case collapsed after it turned out the police had text from the victim. One of the texts said that I'm not just going to mess his life up, I'm just going to ruin it.
Wow.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you very much, Vivian.
Thank you.
Now, a peaceful neighbourhood in Croydon is recovering from a horrifying burglary in Purley Rise. An elderly couple were viciously attacked by 5 men carrying crowbars.
The police are now asking for any witnesses to come forward. Josefine Henneberg has this report.
Purley Rise, a quiet residential place in Croydon. But a couple of days ago, this peace was shattered. According to the police, the residents of one of the houses heard loud banging at their front door. When they went downstairs, they were met by 5 men wearing masks and armed with crowbars. The suspects fled with gold jewellery, a Rolex watch and cash. The victims had to be taken to hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. DC Emma Morris from Croydon Police said that this was a very traumatic experience for the victims. And now they're asking people to come forward who may have seen a black car which may be linked to the attack.
According to the latest crime report statistics by the Metropolitan Police, there have been nearly 120 recorded offences for aggravated burglary between January and November 2017. I am currently here at Purley Rise, where the latest crime happened earlier this week. This adds to the rising attacks and burglaries in Croydon. Josefine Henneberg for EastLondonLines.
And now an ELL exclusive. We have discovered that the chair of a health trust on the Isle of Dogs has paid herself nearly £350,000. Susan Godburn has used NHS funds for her own consulting services.
The Mayor of Tower Hamlets, John Biggs, has called on her to resign after concerns were raised by councillors that public money was being used for private benefit. The Island Health Trust is currently being investigated by the Charities Commission as pressure mounts on Miss Goodban to step down. The consultancy spending was justified as investing in the future of the centre. The Trust raised the service charge for the GPs last year, forcing them out of the first floor of the practice, which is still empty. According to one councillor, the Trust is now getting in the way of doctors.
Both the Trust and Ms Goodman refuse to comment while the Charities Commission investigation is ongoing.
Stay with us for an interview with Goldsmiths College LGBTQ+ Society to discuss LGBT History Month.
And we'll have an update on the story of Melody Driscoll and her mother's battle against social services, straight after the break though. We'll hear about a petition against the demolition of Vitoria Wharf, an historic artistic sanctuary.
We think that that's more important than a bridge that doesn't have a proven worth.
I think it's just a money-making scheme.
And controversy over plans to charge for disposable coffee cups. This month marks LGBT History Month. Earlier, we were joined by Adaine Bradley, who's social media and marketing coordinator for Goldsmiths LGBTQ Society.
And we started by asking her why it was important for LGBT Month to be celebrated here on campus.
So LGBTQ History Month is during the month of February, where LGBTQ plus people kind of celebrate kind of the past of everything that's kind of come, and the present where we are now, and kind of look towards the future and what we want then. And yeah, it's just kind of a celebration of, you know, kind of how far we've come, and also kind of looking back at, you know, our past and understanding. And I think LGBTQ History Month is really important nowadays, especially because you find so many people have these beliefs that, you know, like being LGBTQ plus is like such a modern thing, and it's actually we've always been here and we're still here.
And what kind of selection events do you have for the whole month?
So we've got a wide selection of events. We're starting next Monday on the 5th of February. So there's going to be a trans art exhibition in there for the entire month called How Many Stairs Equal a Punch, and there is also going to be there's going to be our launch night, so we're going to have some kind of poetry reading and some live performances, and then after that we've got kind of a wide variety of things, from kind of panels and socials and some other kind of like collabs that we've done with other societies, such as with the Tabletop Society. We're doing Gabletop games. We're also going to have like a book club, and next week we've got a fat and transpositive clothes swap. So we've got something for everyone.
This sounds all really interesting. What's coming this month? Could you tell us a bit about future plans from your society?
So we have a kind of a movie Monday every week. So that's kind of, it's free and we give you snacks, and that's going to be continuing during LGBTQ History Month. So that's going to continue. Also, kind of we're trying to do some more things with other unis and kind of inter-uni things. So such as even during LGBT History Month, we're co-planning with Kelsey Ell, LGBT community, one their Valentine's Day ball, and also our our end of kind of ball, kind of, which is just going to be loads of fun. And also during the kind of month of March, we're going to try and concentrate a lot on kind of health workshops, such as, and we've got during the LGBTQ History Month, we've got a trans workshop on the health workshop, which we're doing at the SU as well. So yeah,
Sounds like really tough.
A lot going on.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Vitoria Wharf in Tower Hamlets is at risk of imminent demolition, with the London Legacy Development Corporation set to start work on the construction of 2 road bridges.
Petitioners opposed to the scheme from Save Hackney Week have gained more than 10,000 signatures since last year. Maria Olorunfunmi has this report.
Hackney is home to a diverse artist community which is currently being threatened by an ongoing redevelopment of the area. Home to the 2012 Olympic Games, Fish Island houses a number of important historic buildings.
Vitoria Wharf is a historic building on the canal, one of the last historic industrial buildings on the canal, and it houses artist studios and creative workspace. It's done that very successfully, and we think that that's more important than a bridge that doesn't have a proven worth.
Lucinda is part of a group of petitioners called Save Hackney Week. They are fighting against the demolition of Vitoria Wharf. The building is one of the last structures left in its original state and risks to be demolished to make place for 2 road bridges that will connect Fish Islands to the other part of the canal. This footbridge currently connects Fish Islands to the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park. However, 2 other bridges, road bridges, will be built in the place of Vitoria Wharf. Save Hackney Week affirms that the bridges will be expensive and increase the level of pollution in the area.
Why we're against these plans is that this decision was taken a long time ago. The bridges were laid out over 10 years ago, and the decision to build them, the financial decision and the financial agreement to build them was made way before any public consultation took place in 2016.
Regarding the issue, a spokesperson from the London Legacy Development Corporation said, "These bridges will improve the quality of life for current and future residents. They will help deliver the mayor's Healthy Streets approach by creating new routes for public transport and encouraging walking and cycling." Fish Island continues to be a culturally eccentric area. However, with Hackney's increasing redevelopment, things might change in the next few years. Olorunfunmi for ELL+.
A couple of weeks ago, you may remember we covered the case of Karina Driscoll from Croydon, who was facing a legal battle to keep custody of her daughter. Melody, who is severely ill, is a long-term patient at King's College Hospital. Croydon Council has now dropped the case and apologised to the mother. Stay with us next week for an exclusive interview with her, Mother Karina.
And there's growing unease at the waste of non-recyclable coffee cups and the impact they have on the environment.
An influential committee of MPs is recommending a charge on these plastic cups. But what do local coffee shop owners think? I went to Lewisham to find out.
In London, the next coffee shop is mostly just a step away, but the takeaway cups are non-recyclable. Now MPs on the Environmental Audit Committee have called on the government to introduce a 25p extra charge.
The problem with coffee cups is that they are made very particular. Even though they're made out of paper, inside there is a thin line out of plastic to stop them from leaking. So the traditional way of recycling cannot separate these two materials. Even if you have the best intentions, put the coffee cup in a green bin, it will still end up in landfill.
From this month, up until May, Starbucks will charge 5p in 20 to 25 stores around central London. But what do coffee drinkers think about the extra charge on their coffee habits?
I think they'll be making more money, but if it helps the environment, then that's also good. But it's like bad for the people who can barely afford it.
I would do it. I would pay more, definitely.
Environmental reasons, possibly just to make money.
The United Kingdom throws away 2.5 billion coffee cups yearly. Only 0.25% of those are being recycled. Experts estimate this will increase to that by 2020 we'll be throwing away up to 3.75 billion a year.
Laura Foster, a member of Marine Conservation Society, commented on the levy. Just like the plastic bag charge we're all now familiar with, a charge added to our coffee at the point of purchase will help consumers think about whether to take a refill cup at the cafe. The coffee shop owners we spoke to in Lewisham were divided over the levy.
As long as it prohibits people from buying more plastic, I think it's a good way of going about it, because if you are forced to bring your own cup because you can't afford the 5p more, then I think that's a good way of regulating the fact that you shouldn't use that much plastic anymore. So the more expensive it's going to be, I think the more people are to bring their own cups, if that makes sense. I hope that that's the reason. I hope that that will change the habits of people buying plastic.
It's just a money-making scheme. Basically, they should get the manufacturers to do something about it rather than, making people pay extra. 25p, if some people are short of money, they can't afford to pay increases, so instead of having 2 coffees, they got 1 coffee.
The government has still not commented on whether it will act on the MP's advice and impose the extra charge on coffee cups. Malika Fachrou for ELL+.
That's all for now, and thank you very much for joining. We'll see you next week.
In the meantime, you can catch up with all the latest on our website eastlondonlines.co.uk or follow us on Twitter @EastLondonLines. Thanks for joining us.